Hello, I'm the Progressive Disciple, and I'm taking a journey through the Bible, and I'm inviting you to join me. Today, we are covering the book of Numbers, chapters 29 through 32. Chapter 29 is a continuation of all the festivals that are to be celebrated by the tabernacle that was started in chapter 28. In chapter 29, they talk about the Feast of Trumpets, also known as Rosh Hashanah, the Day of Atonement, known as Yom Kippur, and the Feast of Tabernacles, also known as Sukkot. In Numbers, chapter 29, verses 7 through 11, it says, "On the 10th day of the 7th month, hold a sacred assembly. You must deny yourselves and do no work. Present as an aroma pleasing to the Lord a burnt offering of 1 young bull, 1 ram, 7 male lambs a year old without defect. With the bull, offer a grain offering of 3/10 of an ephah of the finest flour mix with oil, with the ram 2/10, and with each of the 7 lambs 1/10. Include 1 male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the sin offering for atonement and the regular burnt offering with the grain offering and their drink offerings." This spoke to me because Yom Kippur is a day of atonement, and I feel that it is important for me to remember to repent and atone for my sin. It is also a reminder for me to be grateful for the atonement that Jesus gave us through his sacrifice. Numbers chapter 30 is about vows. It says that men must keep their vows, but it goes into great length about when a woman's vow is valid and when it is not. In Numbers chapter 30, verses 6 through 8, it says, "If she marries after she makes a vow, and after her lips uttered a rash promise by which she obliges herself, and her husband hears about it but says nothing to her, then her vows or her pledges by which she obligated herself will stand. But if her husband forbids her when he hears about it, he nullifies the vow that obligates her, or the rash promise by which she obligates herself, and the Lord will release her." This is another one of those hard verses to hear. Of course, back in the days of ancient Israel, it was a male-dominated society. But I ask myself, how does this apply now, when women have equal rights with men? As my mother used to say, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Now, that saying isn't in the Bible, but it's something I think it's good to live by. So how do I take these verses? I should keep all vows and commitments that I have made. But I also think it's important for me to run my vows and commitments by my wife before I make them, because vows and commitments will also affect her as well. Chapter 31 is about the attack of Israel against the Midianites. 12,000 soldiers attacked and killed all the men. Balaam was also killed. The commanders of Israel took as plunder all the women, children, and all the cattle and possessions of the Midianites. Moses was upset by this. Moses saw the women as the cause for Israel to go astray at Baal of the Poor, and commanded that all women who had slept with a man and all the male children be killed. After this, the spoils were purified and distributed to the soldiers and to the community. In Numbers chapter 31, verses 15 through 18, it says, "Have you allowed all the women to live?" he asked them. They were the ones who followed Balaam's advice and enticed the Israelites to be unfaithful to the Lord at the Kippur incident, so that a plague struck the Lord's people. Now kill all the boys and kill every woman who has slept with a man, but save for yourself every girl who had never slept with a man. This is another very hard passage to hear. I do not accept that God encourages genocide, but I also feel that Numbers is not really history. So what is the theological meaning of this? It shows the importance of not leading others into sin. For doing so does not only hurt the people who have sinned, but there are consequences for me as well. Chapter 32 is about the Reubenites and the Gadites, who want to have land on the east side of the Jordan. They make a proposal to Moses that they be allowed to take their inheritance on the east side. This makes Moses angry because he sees this as a way for them not to go to war to help their brothers take the land for themselves. But the Reubenites and Gadites come up with a solution. They will make fortified cities and pens for their animals on the east side, but then they will join their brothers in the conquest of Canaan. Moses accepts this proposal. Also, half of the tribe of Manasseh also conquers land from the east side of the Jordan, and they take this as their part of the inheritance as well. In Numbers, chapters 32, verses 16 through 19, it says, "Then they came up to him and said, 'We would like to build pens here for our livestock and cities for our women and children. But we will arm ourselves for battle and go ahead of the Israelites until we have brought them to their place. Meanwhile, our women and children will live in fortified cities for protection from the inhabitants of the land. We will not return to our homes until each of the Israelites have received their inheritance. We will not receive any inheritance with them on the other side of the Jordan, because our inheritance has come to us on the east side of the Jordan.'" This spoke to me because it demonstrates the importance of the community. I think the Reubenites and the Gadites realized that they needed to put the others first before taking land for themselves. It also spoke to me because the land was to be given out by lot, and yet what they needed was different from what the other tribes needed. And so speaking up was the right thing for them to do. So this is a reminder of me to think of the community, but also speak up for my needs as well. So this is my take of Numbers, chapters 29 through 32. Please like and comment. I would love to respond to your comments. Also, subscribe to my videos if you have not done so already. I am the Progressive Disciple, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.